Kia ora koutou. Welcome to another edition of the Hot Air Sports Podcast, brought to you by Life Isn't Fair, the Ian McDonald autobiography, available now at vibranceGifts.co.nz for just $35. And by all accounts, it's not a bad read.
Fantastic read, mate. And it is absolute primo content for exactly what this podcast is about today as well, isn't it? Because life is not fair if you're a Liverpool fan. It's not fair. Why am I talking? Is this a Christmas edition though? Why am I talking to Santa Claus? What's going on there?
Yeah, I just have lost the old razor, but I'll find it in a couple of days.
Incredibly debonair, mate. You look spitting image of like a 60-year-old Alison. I'd say Alison Becker.
Quite right. And the course man next to me is me good mate Mahona. On fire today, son.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy.
And there's a couple of officials in England that should be maybe set on fire.
Yeah, check complete, mate. Wait. Are you happy with that? Wait. No, we can't. Can we start again? No, we can't. We can't start again. We can't.
Oh, shit.
I think we started again.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, this is our second attempt at this podcast, isn't it, Macca? After we both burst a couple of blood vessels previously.
Exactly right. The first take wasn't a good one. And we thought the check had been completed successfully, but it wasn't. It was unsuccessful. And, of course, we are talking about the VAR shambles over the weekend in the game between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur.
Yes.
Just a shambles from start to finish.
Mate, first of all, I'd like to know is in 2023, in these years of 4K ultra-high definition screens with Dolby Atmos surround soundscape 2.0, why does it always sound like that the referees are talking to each other on the moon with a tin can and a rope? And they're talking like the air traffic controllers, and it's like, bloody hell, all you need to do is say, that was onside, that is a goal.
I've actually seen some footage from inside the VAR room. Both the VAR and the assistant VAR had actually gone to the toilet, so they were actually in toilet cubicles. That's why it sounded so weird. And
the third guy was having his burger and chips. And the fourth guy was Stevie Bloody Wonder, mate. There was bloody great. And he's the guy that saw the problem. So it was, no, mate. Before we start, though, we must reiterate that the Hot Air Sports Podcast is a podcast of peace, love, understanding, and tolerance. We must tell you this because
absolutely, and we'll apologise in advance for the language that's probably going to come out of today's podcast.
We do forgive. We do forgive people for all their trespasses and sins and foibles and faults, and bloody hell, we've got plenty of them. But when you make a mistake as heinous and as egregious and as you just cannot see how you could make a mistake like that. You have one job. There's black and white things. And this was a black and white thing, and they just couldn't even sort that out. They said, no, here's some Technicolor. Just did
a quick check. VAR was introduced into the Premier League during the 2019-2020 season, which ironically was the season that Liverpool last won it. So it's now in its fifth season, and it was brought in to get rid of the howler.
Yeah.
The clear and obvious error made by the on-field officials.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can't blame the on-field officials for this one, can you? Maybe the linesman, because he got it wrong, although at the speed it was played, I actually did think it was offside.
Yeah, and to be fair, the rest of the world has done VAR pretty well, pretty good. And there's automated offsides now, which worked bloody good for the female World Cup, didn't it? For the Women's World Cup.
Absolutely.
Worked awesome. I mean, but no, these guys can do it better. They sure can do it better. Wow, they can do it better. This was one where the linesman got it wrong to start with, and so it goes upstairs to VAR. I cannot understand. First of all, I was watching it at 5 a.m. On a couch millions of miles away on the other side of the world on a TV, and I saw the linesman put his flag up. I saw Luis Diaz roll around like it's got, oh no, I didn't score. You saw his reaction. That's the reaction of a guy that thinks he's scored, and then the touch judge's flag goes up.
Yeah.
What the hell? Oh, that's right. They were in the toilet. That's right. We didn't see the reaction of that, so we thought it was on. So why didn't you ask the ref? If you actually thought it was onside, why didn't you say, sorry, was that onside? They didn't even ask. They didn't even clarify that, because they don't have a protocol to ask the referee.
You've only got to look at rugby. You know, the rugby referee goes upstairs to the TMO, and we'll get on to rugby soon.
Yeah.
And he'll go, try or no try, soft signal is a try.
Is there a clear reason why I should not give the try? Is there
grounding?
The referee needs to go, is that a goal? Like 3-4 fucking words. Not check complete. What does check complete? What have you checked? I mean, communication is so key. And the key question here is, why do we have VAR in the first place? Is it to get everything right 100%? No, it's not. But it's to get those non-negotiables right. Did the ball cross the line? Was that offside? There are millions of other things in football that don't get me started with VAR getting involved in, and we will get onto that, like with red cards and stuff like that as well. But there are certain things where there's no reason why they can't get them 100% right now because of the technology, right?
Yep.
And one of them is offside, and the other one is if the ball is out. And for them to get it so badly wrong because they can't talk to each other like normal human beings is just unbelievable. Common sense goes, why do we have VAR? Is it to get it 100% right? Well, I think it is for 100% right for those 100% means. I wish they'd piss off with the other things and let the ref manage the game.
Yep.
And say, this is how I'm interpreting this game. This is how I'm managing this game. Oh, there's a terrible tackle. That is a straight red card. Oh, there's a tackle that might not be. There's a yellow. Oh, that same player just did something else, which could be a yellow, but I'm going to go over there to him now because he's not that sort of, and say, if you touch someone next time, you're getting a yellow and you'll be off. But I'm going to give you that. That's gone out of the game now. Refs don't do that anymore. It's completely gone. The referees believe that they believe that they're there to get everything right and to fulfill protocols and to, they think that they're there for them. Get back to the key thing. The sport is there for the players, for the fans, for everyone else, way before the officials and and so once they determine, that's the key thing here that they need to change. They need to change their mindset, the officials, that they are there to support everything else and manage that and make it as a key thing to throw it to another sport. My favorite sport, rugby league, we just saw an amazing grand final because the ref put away the whistle and just managed the players and they got on with it and they played the game. And I just think that gets lost in all of this technology and all of the refereeing is about management, not the rules, not to say, oh, I know this rule. I know it so well. Look how quick I was to spot that. It's like, no.
I don't normally listen to too much that Pep Guardiola says, but he came out the other day and said, what the referees have forgotten is the game is about the players. It's not about the referees or the linesmen or the VAR. It's about the players. That's why every week 40, 50,000 people go along to a ground to watch the players. They don't go along to see, are you going to a game tomorrow? Who are you supporting? Oh, I'm there.
Who's refereeing?
See how the ref goes.
Yeah, who's refereeing?
Yeah.
Who is it? Oh, him. Oh, great. The best referees are the referees you don't notice. And the ones that you do notice, like Kalina in football or maybe Harrigan and they were strong personalities, but they backed themselves to manage the game. So they became big personalities because they backed themselves. If they made a decision and it was wrong, they'd own it later on. Or, the players would go, oh, well, he made a decision, he made it wrong. They just had respect for them. And I just don't think there's any respect either, between the players and the officials anymore. I think they just hate them.
I mean, there are some good officials, and good officials will have bad games. I mean, Michael Oliver's a good referee.
Absolutely, he can be.
Anthony Taylor, when he's not refereeing Liverpool or Manchester City, is a good referee.
When he's refereeing overseas in international games, he's actually quite a good referee. If it's no English people involved, I think he's But
and there was another guy, Mike Jones, who was quite a young guy. He left the game early. He was a good referee, and the two Madley, Bobby Madley and Andy Madley, are both good referees. But some of these clowns that are like that, Simon Hooper, I mean, he's already been involved in 2 apologies by PGMOL. He denied the penalty.
The Wolves penalty at the end of the game where the guy crashed, Onana smashed into their defender.
Yeah.
And he just
That
said,
was
oh, no.
Simon Hooper.
That was just unbelievable. And the guy's still refereeing in the Premier League, you know?
Yeah, and the less we say about Paul Tierney is he should never be allowed to referee again.
Yeah, he's probably got our game this week or next week or whenever. I mean, yeah, I think the game management side of it needs to take priority. I mean, and let's go to you know, there's 2 incidents. There's Curtis Jones's red and there's Jota's double yellow. You know, and I don't have any problem with the second foul with the Jota being a yellow, but the ref needs to understand that the first one was just him running it, and the guy's backswing of his foot caught Jota's knee, which he was just running, gives him a yellow, and then maybe by the letter of the law, that second one is a yellow. But he could have walked over to him and said, listen, you know, touch him again, you know, he could have done that. And the Curtis Jones one, mate, I mean, first of all, my question for you is who sent Curtis Jones off? Who sent him off? Because the ref gave me yellow, right?
Ref gave me yellow.
And he was the closest person in the world to what happened. And then the guy gets in his ear and goes, no, I reckon what they say is it's a red, because there's no way he's going over to the monitor to just say, no, I'm sticking with my yellow. There's no way. There's only one thing going to happen once he goes to the monitor. So the guy said it's a red, and then he's paused the bloody image, the worst leg-breaking image that he can get, the best angle of it, freezes it and says, look at that, mate, look at that, that's a red, you know, to try and convince him. So you got to ask, who's refereeing the game? You know, the VAR should be there to determine those absolute howlers, those black and white things, and just fuck off with everything else. I'm sorry, but that's what should happen. And the referee should be better at managing the game.
Those card decisions too, those subjective decisions, let's call them, that's where you need a former player in the booth with the VAR. You know, a Stephen Warnock or a Peter Crouch or you know, somebody like that knows the game. You know, even Gary Neville, who hates Liverpool, come out and said that shouldn't be a red card. And I mean, you look at Liverpool's had 4 red cards so far this season. One of them's been rescinded, the Alexis McAllister one, which was just boot on boot. The Virgil van Dijk one, where he hardly touched him before he kicked the ball.
None of them were vicious fouls. None of them.
The Curtis Jones one and the Jota, as you said, the first yellow wasn't a yellow. If there had been a former player adjudicating on those, I don't think any of them would have been given.
Listen, if the ref,
that game itself, Liverpool had 7 yellow and red cards. Tottenham had 5 yellow cards.
A lot of them for time wasting at the end of the game.
If you said there was 11 cards in that game, including 2 reds, you would have gone, and you hadn't watched the game, you would have gone, man, what an ugly, ugly game.
Absolutely. But what about Destiny Odoji giving him the yellow card on the ground when McAllister got a yellow card for doing exactly the same thing earlier in the season? So that could have been another one. I mean, it's just
that would have been a second yellow for him.
But a lot of those yellow cards that he gave were for time wasting, which was just stupid anyway, because they can add it on. You know, so why do they care? They're the ones that are saying, oh, no, we're paying 12 minutes at the end because of time. But, well, if they're time wasting, who gives a shit? You're adding your time on anyway. You're the only person in control of the time. So why are you giving people yellow cards for time wasting? It's just ridiculous. Or going back to the people in the box, though, or the people in the VAR box, look, if the refs want their way, they should have maybe a ref in the box. That's fine, but he should fuck off unless it's a technical rule issue that he can come in and go, okay, well, technically there should be a player there for the person pick up on context, and he should basically be like the assistant guy, if the person that, and then there should be one technical person who is not a referee, who is just a technical person who's really good with computers and knows the game inside out, is tested on it billions, should be completely different occupation to a referee. They should be the ones, you're probably a younger, more tech savvy person who can get all the lines and just line everything up. And then there should be a communications person feeding them all the information. Those should be then you've got a little bit of everything. At the moment, it's just like run by these technocrats, isn't it? These, it's absolutely ridiculous. And there are things that can be done. There are simple common sense things. I mean, we've run through a few of them while we've been talking, like common sense. Well, I mean, I don't think we're going to get that. But what are the other things that we could do, mate? What are the other things? We've got to come up with some solutions here. We're not just a podcast of problems. We're a podcast of solutions. Come on. What do we get?
Well, I mean, we've talked about pretty much a lot of the solutions by having a player in the box, because as we've seen, not just in Liverpool games, but in other games, the bar for red cards nowadays is very, very low.
Way too low.
It used to be basically if the opposition player was dragged off on a stretcher.
Yeah, came out with a chainsaw.
The referee might think about red card.
Did Roy Keane get sent off with that fucking leg breaker with bloody, what's his name, Haaland's father? I don't think he did he? Yeah. Might have got a soft yellow back in those. I mean, that's the thing, eh? I mean, it should be for something vicious, shouldn't it? It should be. I mean, and even the double yellows.
It's not just football either. I mean, we'll talk about rugby in a minute, but rugby and rugby league, the bar is a hell of a lot lower now than it ever used to be.
It's like the sports are trying to cover themselves because of the concussion and head injuries things. They're trying to cover themselves and say, no, we aren't the sport. But you are. This is what you are. You're going to have to own it. You're going to have to come up with some other way to get your players to play the game and accept that these are the risks. Yeah. It's like, okay, that Curtis Jones red card, just to get back to that, those sorts of things, people can go, oh my God, no, look at that. That is a leg-breaking tackle. Yes, it could be a leg-breaking tackle, but every time you go and play football, you could break your fucking leg. And it doesn't mean that there's always someone's fault that happens. Sometimes it could be someone's fault if they are reckless, but sometimes you're just going to stand the wrong way, or someone's going to come in and the ball's going to go, and that's going to happen. It's like saying, it's like the arms, to be a natural position. Another key phrase, along with the natural position. I'm sorry, when people are jumping, it is not natural unless you're a Morris fucking dancer to have your arms by your side. You're not. Yeah. You're gonna have your arms.
You need to use your arms for leverage.
You do, and it's like for them to say it's not natural.
It's going to connect with the head of the player next to you.
And in the Champions League, I've seen some absolutely crazy one. The one in the Real Madrid game yesterday, where the guy was like 1 foot away and the ball bounced as he was tackling off his foot, off his knee, into his hand. And they said, that's a handball. It's not a handball. It's not. Yeah. It's not. So, those sorts of things just there needs to be common sense applied instead of the rule book. There needs to be, because we all know what football is, right? We all know what it is. It's we do, fans do, and players do, and managers do, but to the officials, they just think that they've got a job to do and they must do it. Are they the only ones that think this way? Can they hear us? Can they hear us?
No, they're not the only ones that think that way, because you look at other sports, and in rugby at the moment, we're seeing it in the Rugby World Cup. Yeah. But the rugby referees are ruling 100% to the letter of the law. Yep. I mean, the things that really, really frustrates me, one, for starters, is the advantage law. On the weekend, the Italy team were given an advantage. They carried the ball for 5 or 6 phases and went 22 meters down the field. Yeah. Dropped the ball, and the referee called them back. I mean, that's way too big an advantage.
Absolutely.
Even for a penalty. I mean, they've got the knock-on one pretty much right. Basically, the ball goes through 2 sets or 3 sets of hands, or it's kicked. Yeah. Advantage over.
You and I are old enough to remember when there wasn't really advantage. We are. I mean, when they brought advantage in, it was good. Then we were like, good, they can keep the game flowing. That is the
Yeah,
point. But
and
what
they
is the
kept it at
point
a
if you
decent
keep
level.
Exactly. And it's like a few seconds, It's like, otherwise you're losing a bunch of time as well, aren't you?
Yep. And the other thing is nitpicking penalties that don't actually have an effect on the game, like the ball's coming out of a scrum and the opposition halfback comes around a bit too far. He doesn't touch the opposition. He doesn't touch
no, by the letter of the law,
halfback or the ball.
Yeah.
But it's just
I'm gonna
there,
get a
just
nice
let him
running
clear it.
phase here. I'm gonna get a nice running phase of rugby. I better stop it. I might have to do some running. That's
it happens too many times, and somebody in the back line will run offside before the ball's even come out.
Do you think that's a directive from World Rugby?
And then they'll retreat. The referee still blows it for a penalty. It's like,
do you think it's a directive that the referees are getting from World Rugby? So why would if you're running the game, why would you tell the referees to referee the game like that? Why? Surely you're not making the game attractive to watch.
Oh, they don't care.
Well, why?
They're covering their ass.
It's an entertainment industry,
they're covering their ass, basically.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's fair. I think a lot of it's fair. The thing that really pisses me off a lot of the time with rugby is it's a collision sport, and they microanalyze every collision in minutia. It's like what really pisses me off is when two guys run at each other and they hit heads. Yep. It's like two goats going at it. I'm like, I understand it's a horrible thing. I don't think either player intended to hit each other in the head with the other guy's head.
Yeah.
But one of them has to be sent off because that's a head on. This goes back to the thing, the rollover, no one intended, unless there's major intent, no one should be sent off. I'm sorry. That's just
in rugby, it affects the team down to 14 men so much more than football when they go down to 10 men.
Absolutely, because footballers can sit back. The game's a segmented game where the players can move and they can go, right, we're going to drop two banks of four and have one guy up front. In rugby, you can't do that. In rugby, you've got you got 8 to 10 guys stuck here and the best you're out there. So if you've got one less player,
you've got your second 5/8 or
that always makes me laugh,
scrum to make up the scrum. And
absolutely, it always makes me laugh when there's rugby heads try and talk about football. Oh, they got a guy sent off. They should be able to score. Why can't they score a goal? It's like, oh, fucking come on. Should I have to explain this to you? And you do have to explain. People go, oh, they got to go. They should definitely, mind you, when we were down to 9 in the weekend, fucking hell. Anyway, let's get back to these solutions, mate. For me, the VAR thing, I think we need to get rid of VAR. I think you need to get rid of VAR except for the black and white things. We need to get rid of it until it's fit for purpose, at least. Until it's fit for purpose and they get things right. Think of FIFA. Think of all their tournaments that they've done. VAR, never a problem. It's not a fucking problem. Yeah. And the way that they do little improvements, like the way that the referees were talking at the Women's World Cup, that was brilliant. I thought at the beginning, oh my God, this is going to be awful. But actually, as the tournament went on, I got used to it. And the refs got to say their bit so they can get their little moment of fucking fame, can't they? There they go. And I thought the League Cup, I watched it during the week. I thought that was really refreshing without VAR.
Without VAR, yeah.
I mean, some of the offsides were a bit dodged, but I mean, I just thought, whatever. I accepted it. As I
said earlier, you accept those ones because
you do.
It's a guy on the field. He's not in line. Linesmen, they can't get in line the whole time. So, I mean, it's pretty much guesswork. And, I mean, I've umpired in my younger, fitter days, umpired senior cricket. It's hard. It's bloody hard.
It is.
And, I see things differently that you do. And, and I see things differently to what a batsman might see. And, they come up to you after the game and go, I was never out LBW. And my standard answer used to be, just look at the scorebook, pal. But that's, that's
no wonder you were loved. No wonder you were.
And it's the same with refereeing. And we used to go on about, and off, Liverpool hard done by because, Sterling wasn't offside in that game against Man City, and
Or the Rodri handball.
the Rodri, well, that should
we
have
would have
been
won
done
the
by the
bloody.
VAR.
That should have been.
I'm talking pre-VAR days.
Oh,
where,
okay. Oh, there's plenty.
Yeah, there used to be plenty, but we'd talk about them, but then it'd be over by the
next game.
By the next game. But this one's not.
No, it's not.
And all the, this is what VAR is supposed to be doing, is to stop all this haranguing during the week and, club supporters tearing their hair out because they've made errors that affect the game.
Yeah, ridiculous.
The integrity of the game. So
ridiculous. Black and white stuff. And the fact that the young replay guy, I mean, I went through this.
He was the only one that picked it up.
He was the only guy that picked it up. To me, says get someone younger in there. Get people that specify that's their specific job. They won't fuck it up because it's their only job. So get people specifically trained in those things. Implement automatic offside straight away. Yes, that should be a non-negotiable. And also go inside. Look, EPL. We're always hearing about it. It's the best. It's the best league in the world, and I'd agree. I mean, best players. I mean, I watch it all the time. I watch it religiously. My favorite league. Why has it got the worst referees? Why does every referee have to be a fat little bald Yorkshireman called Dennis Johan? Whatever their bloody names. I'm sick of them. Go and get the best guys off the continent, the best referees. Go and pay them whatever they need, and get them to come to the Premier League and have the best referees. It's just jobs for the boys. So if you get all the best referees, you get people in the VAR booth doing the specific jobs that they're trained for, and you get automatic technologies everywhere you want, I don't think you can really go that wrong. Look at FIFA, that's the thing. I do believe in VAR. I just think that, I'm actually, in some ways, it's quite good that this happened, because if change comes, do you think we'll get a replay?
Yeah, no,
I don't think
we
we
will
will.
Replay, but change does have to happen, no doubt about it.
It has to, mate.
And I was just thinking around the yellow cards. I mean, they say that VAR can't be involved in yellow cards.
Yeah, but they're involved in red ones. But
that first one of Jotta's, all it needed, as soon as they showed that first replay, which was before the game had already even started again, the VAR could have just been in the ref's ear going, mate, that wasn't a yellow.
See, this is where I
accidentally connected him.
I agree with you, but I also disagree with you here. I disagree. I don't think the VAR, I think the ref should be onto it enough to just make that decision and think he got it right. But when it comes to the second one, understand that the first one was, and just go up to him and give him just referee the game. I don't agree with someone getting in his ear going, mate, that was never. If he's made that decision, let him make the decision. But the ref was bloody. The ref was just bloody awful. He just had no manager. I just think he was just going to do whatever the fuck he wanted. And he couldn't wait to get his red card out for Curtis Jones, could he? Couldn't wait. He ran back and he was like, no, and did his whole little bloody hand, that thing. And it's just like, piss off, mate, Anyway, no, sorry, peace, love, and understanding. You're doing your best. You're doing your best, son. You're doing your best. Good on you.
Before you blow your top again, the bunker.
Yeah, let's get to the bunker.
From the bunker in rugby league.
Oh, mate, and of course we had the Warriors. I mean, we weren't. I mean, the Broncos were better on the day when the Warriors got knocked out for sure. But we were only down by 12 points. It was only 3 tries to 4 at that stage, and that forward pass, and then that second forward pass. It's almost the opposite to what we were just been talking about. It's when you want the bunker to get involved. They just decided we're not getting involved at all.
But that's the thing; they can't rule on forward passes, can they?
Why? It's because of technology. When they first brought the bunker in, and they first brought the video referee in. They've had it for 20 years. Nearly a long time. And for me, if you can, it comes back down, and once again, doesn't it, mate? It's that common sense shit. Yeah. Everyone at the ground saw it. Everyone except for now. My problem is not so much with the bunker in those sort of instances. It's more with the touch judges. Where No touch
Where
judges
was the touch
ever
judge?
in rugby league. They never make any fucking decisions. They stand there with their hands. I see forward passes every week just not called. And it's just like, well, if the bunker can't call them, either call them all forward or let them throw the ball fucking forward, because it's just ridiculous. If the touch judge is perfectly in line, what did you see? We're seeing it on TV from an angle like that, and we can see it's forward. What did you see? I mean, it's so difficult. I think though the protocols in rugby league, they get them basically right. I think they try, and it's way more open and transparent. At least we can hear what they're saying. No, we're doing this, we're doing that. For me, that's a way better way. I hate the secrecy of the way. Oh no, we couldn't let you hear what we're saying. We couldn't let you see us. We couldn't let you. Why? All you're doing is, if you're so confident that you're so good at the rules, it's just better for transparency for a fan and the fan experience. If you've ever been to an EPL game or a game where there's VAR and you're watching the game at the ground and there's a checking. What? Give us, they should have the same information, people at the game, to everyone else. So that takes that away.
Look at the NFL. The referees speak to the crowd every second.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And they've got more referees. If they have a problem keeping up, if they have, say, oh, no, our touch judges can't, well, put people there at every 20 meters that are just forward pass judges or something. Get it right. Put more. Look at how many people it takes to referee an NFL game. There's so many guys. They've all got different colored hats and different colored stripes, different ways. And I do not understand why there only has to be 3 people on the field all the time. I mean, I understand one
they
referee.
Tried it, didn't they? With
They did 2 referees, but then you get no. Well, it's interpretation, isn't it? I mean, you can't the team, if one team's getting a certain piggyback by one referee and not the other. I don't know. I just think consistency. You want one guy in charge, but other people can do other things. You could have the other referee just keeping the 10 meters. Just say, so if there was another referee on the field, just give him a specific role. I think that's the way to do it.
In football, what do you think about a captain's or coach challenge?
I'd love that. A manager's challenge.
Like they do in the NFL.
You've got VAR. I mean, you've got all the cameras, you've got everything else. They stop for everything else in testing level. Why the hell, I think it should be a manager's thing. If the manager thinks that an injustice has been done because of something, that would have been a perfect example for Jurgen Klopp, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For the Luis Diaz goal, that would have been perfect, provided it's for something like that. I don't know. No, it can't be. I suppose you could.
Well, there are certain things you can and can't do in NFL with the coach's challenge.
How would you do it for
just draw ups? But I definitely the Diaz one, when it's black and white, it should be definitely challengeable. And it's the same in baseball. I mean, there's only certain things you can challenge about. You can't challenge balls and strikes. You can't challenge whether the batsman has gone around with his bat.
Work that out.
So, but work it out. Work out the protocol around it, and give them same as the NFL. You've got 1 challenge per half, and if you lose it, if you get it wrong, that's it. You don't. If you stuff up your 1 in the first half, you don't get 1 in the second half.
I guess for me, the main thing would be the managers would have to have faith in the officials overturning their decision. Well, because at the moment they'd say, no, we got that exactly right every single bloody time, wouldn't they? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, on the subjective calls, I don't know how it would work.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I mean, the other instance, going back to that 2019-2020 season, remember the first game back after the COVID break? It was Sheffield United and
where there was the goal line technology.
The goal line technology
breakdown.
Yeah.
Yes. And there was a
but
ball
you could quite clearly, the VAR could quite clearly see the ball had gone over the line.
That's
but
right.
Couldn't rule on it. Even though he could see it, because there wasn't enough technology there was a camera that wasn't quite in the right position or something. It was a breakdown.
What happened in that game as far as the result? It just carried on, didn't it? Just
They
nothing.
just carried on. Aston Villa won it 1-0
They did.
and
What happened to Sheffield
finished
United?
finished 2 points ahead of Sheffield United, who got relegated.
Oh, see? And see what happens at the end of the season if we just carry it. Well, it's going to carry on. We're not going to get it replayed. If at the end of the season we lose the league by 2 points to Manchester City, you know, there's just going to be. See, this is the problem with not applying common sense at the time. It leads to all this conspiracy and shit that people get online and say, they did it on. But look, I am not a believer in any of that shit, but I can see how it happens when stuff ups are made that are just so bad, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. It's a lot of talk on the big ones, on the VAR TMO bunker, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking
Actually,
a little
no, I
bit
got it wrong. I've just gone back to look at the table. Aston Villa won that game.
Yeah.
But they only finished 1 point ahead of Bournemouth and Watford, who both got relegated. So
only 1 point.
1 point. So technically, if that goal
point
had been given and it was the final score was say 1-1,
yeah,
Villa would have only got
been
1
relegated
point from that game instead of 3 and would have been relegated.
Unbelievable. It's not so much them, it's the teams that got relegated instead of them that have got the see?
Yeah. Anyway,
let's do a little bit on other sports before we go. I'll do a little bit on NRL, of course. The grand final qualifiers is where the Warriors ended.
I do just want to finish off on our. I won't call it an attack on umpiring and
no,
refereeing.
It's not.
It's a conversation around.
Want it to be better. We love sport.
I actually wanted to ask you if you could think of a sport where the technology has actually helped and has made the sports better.
Definitely tennis for sure. Just every time it's out and you get a challenge, it's quick, it's fast, it's fantastic. I think tennis is great. Tennis for sure, but then tennis is a black and white sport. It's a ball, it's out. You know, it's like so easy. Give me another sport. You help me out here.
To a certain extent, I think it's worked in baseball.
Okay. Well, give me your insight because you're the baseball expert.
The bulk of calls that are challenged are the bang bang play at first base.
Yeah,
or another base.
Super slow mo definitely helps with that.
Super slow mo definitely helps with that. And the ball has to be resting in the glove before the player's foot touches the base. So you see some of them where the ball is still, it is in the
it's like
in the glove, but it's not touched the back of the glove. And those ones are good. I think it should be extended to a couple of other things, like
what?
The one we saw the other day. I don't know if you saw the Bryce Harper incident.
No.
With the worst umpire in sports, Angel Hernandez. Worst umpire in sports, full stop. I've not seen a worse
umpire /
referee in any sport that I follow.
Unbelievable.
Even some of the clowns that run around on a football field.
How is he an umpire?
How he continues to get games, I'll never know. Anyway,
he's got pictures of something. Yep.
He was the third base umpire.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper on a 3-2 count stops his swing. Doesn't even go anywhere near the front of the base because umpires largely go, if the bat head goes out past the front of home plate.
Yep, when you're doing that, it stops there, right? It's like parallel. It's like, if it goes further than that, it's a strike. Yeah.
And Harper's didn't even make the back corner of the home plate.
Yeah.
And they go down to the third base umpire, Angel Hernandez, out. And Bryce Harper just blows up.
Which is so unusual. See, this is something in baseball that I just go back. Baseball has a reverence for its umpires. I mean, I've seen so many games where there's a strike zone on the screen and the ball's outside it, but the players are all pretty good. They're all like, well, he's going to call it that way the whole way. And they're pretty good. And they have a reverence for the umpires normally. So for a player to go off at an umpire.
Except Angel Hernandez. Like there are stats every season around umpire accuracy. 98% of umpires are between 94% and 100% correct.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Angel
That's why
Hernandez,
that's why you're in the big leagues.
Angel Hernandez is less than 90. Like he's mid-80s at best.
What does he know? Has he been on Love Island or something? What is he? Hang on. How is he still in the game? How is he still in the game if he's by far the worst?
I don't know.
And he's got the attitude.
No, and he's got the attitude,
the
arrogance of the man.
Yeah.
He filed a suit against MLB citing racial discrimination for not getting playoff games.
But he's the worst umpire, though.
And it's sort of like, well, no, Angel. The reason you're not getting playoff games is because you're shit.
Because you're terrible.
Because you're a terrible umpire. And this year it actually been quite good because Angel was missing for most of the season. Nobody really knew why. Some people thought he had been finally dropped by MLB.
Yeah.
But no, it was a family issue, and then he got injured. So he only came in
by Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I saw the stats yesterday. In his last 10 games as an umpire behind home plate, he got 161 calls wrong.
Jesus.
In 10 games behind the plate.
That's pretty terrible. Yeah. That's
And
amazing that he's still there. Will he be there next year? Will technology help him?
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, and there's another umpire, CB Buckner. He's not quite as bad, but is bad. I don't know if you saw the Aaron Boone picture a month or so ago, where he mimicked the umpire giving.
Oh yes, I did see that. Yeah, I saw that.
That was CB Buckner. And the thing with CB Buckner though is everybody knows he's bad.
Yeah,
and knows he's got a enormous strike zone, whereas Angel.
Well, that's at least you got the consistency.
Doesn't have a strike zone.
You know where you're going. Yeah,
a ball can go straight down the middle and he'll go ball, or it can go a foot outside home plate and he'll go strike.
Yeah. So he just got
That's
turns the game into a lottery. Well, what? Going back to your original question, you think it's improved baseball technology?
Definitely on the base running stuff.
Yeah. What other sport then? So we've got tennis, we've got baseball. There's not too many others, is there? Really?
I think the NFL do a pretty good job.
Yeah, true. They've been doing it for a long, long time though, and I think by and large, rugby had it good until officious people got in the booth and decided, I'm going to get into the year of the referee. That never used to happen.
Well, the thing was, when rugby first did it, they could only rule on tries, basically.
That's right. They had the whole thing. No forward passes either.
Perhaps that should take it back to that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but it's like it's out of the box. It's like when the internet, you can't take the internet back. It's just, we've got it now. We're just going to live with it, but just make it better, Just make it better.
Right. Let's have a look at some other sports.
Okay, I'll just do my NRL thing. Of course, Warriors ended with a grand final qualifier. We got knocked out by the Broncos, and I've said great season though. Dylan Watene-Zelezniak was the best winger. Adam Fanua-Blake was the best prop, and Sean Johnson best halfback, and should have won the Dally M medal. He was bloody robbed. But that doesn't really matter. They're all coming back. I just think it has to be a start for the Warriors, not an end. It's really one more year under Webster. It's going to be great. And then the grand final. My God, what a grand final! Ezra Mam, when he scored that third try, the Broncos thought they'd won the game. I thought they'd won the game. Everyone except Ivan and Nathan Cleary thought they'd won the game. And he was guaranteed. He basically had the Churchill medal around his neck. He was ready to go home, back to Brisbane. Woo! Here it is, first title in bloody ages. And then Nathan Cleary, 17-minute masterclass, mate. Brutal. First half. I think this is probably the best dynasty, or maybe the best grand final since 2015 for sure, when Thurston kicked that drop goal. It's up there in my top three. 89, of course, the Tigers and the Raiders, and the 2015 grand final as well. And Penrith, the dynasty three-peat, the first three-peat in salary cap history since 1990. No other team has won three in a row. The last three in a row was Parramatta, 80, 81, and 82. That was with Kenny, Sterling, Cronin, Price, all those great names. That was the last one. And before that, of course, the St. George sides, when they won 11 premierships in a row from 56 to 66. But I think, and Canberra, you've got to mention Canberra in the 90s.
Yep.
What a team they were as well. But I think this team probably goes up there with all. It has to, man. I mean, salary cap times when all the teams are kept together because of the money, other than the Melbourne Storm, and we know they didn't play by the rules, so screw them.
This has just talking about that Canberra side was fantastic, wasn't it?
Oh, mate.
With Laurie Daly, Big Melbourne Inga, Brett Mullins, Noah Nandruku.
Absolutely. Just saying, we're even wiki in the centers. Brent
Steve Jackson.
Oh, so many players. They were just, they were so good. I love the Green Machine, even though they did the dirty on the Tigers in 89. Yeah. Still love the Green Machine. Yeah, what a great team they were. So now it's a Pacific Championship to be played against, there's teams involving Australia, Fiji, Cook Islands, and Papua New Guinea. The Kiwi squad has been selected, and it looks a really strong squad as well. Sean's made himself unavailable. A lot of other players unavailable, including Marata Nuakore, Dylan Watini-Zelesnia, Brandon Smith, Jared Warrior-Hargraves, Sebastian Chris, Scotty Sorensen, Cody Nikarima, Tamari Martin, Jeremy Marshall, and Jordan Ricky. They're all injured or having surgery or getting married or doing something. The effects of Mad Mudney, who knows? But yeah, they should do really well. Week 1 is October the 14th to the 15th. New Zealand aren't involved in that one. The women are, though. They're playing Australia that week. Week 2, New Zealand plays Samoa at Eden Park. The same day as the Tongan women play New Zealand at Eden Park. So that should be a good game, actually, October the 21st. And then in the third week, we play Australia in Melbourne at Amy Park in October the 28th and 29th. And the final of the Pacific Cup is in Hamilton on November the 4th. It's the day before Guy Fawkes, so try and stop them invading the field on that day.
At the Tron.
Oh, mate. Oh, there you go. So there you go. That's a bit on the league. Roll on next season. Up the wires. I'm still up the wires. Go on.
All right. And Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in the news yesterday.
Yeah, he was in the news. He had a few too many drinkies at Sky City and decided, I'm going to drive home. Silly boy. Yes. Israel Adesanya did the same thing, didn't he? Last week. So what the hell's going on? Surely those guys can get drivers. I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be the first one in the greenhouse to throw a stone, though, mate. I mean, we've all been young and done things in the past that we shouldn't have probably done. Correct?
Yeah, and you know all my secrets now that you've read the book.
That's where you can read about Ian's secrets, ladies and gentlemen. And myself and the wife were talking about it earlier in the day, and we were saying, wow, he's nothing if not honest. There's a lot of drinking in there. A lot of drinking.
Yes, quite right. Now, talking about bad boys and going on the wrong side of the law, so to speak, the Hawke's Bay rugby team are in a bit of trouble. They've destroyed the Ranfurly Shield. And if they're going to stick to the line that got dropped on a concrete floor, what a load of absolute bullshit.
Israel Dag saying it's the smartphone's fault. I'm saying,
yeah.
He said, no, he actually said stupid phones. It's the stupid phones. I said, it's not stupid phones, it's stupid people. That's so stupid.
Right. Absolutely disgraceful.
If there was a photograph of everywhere that shield has been and what it's been done, sure, there'd be scandal everywhere. Yep. The thing is, the previous players had brains enough not to take fucking photos. My God. It is a sign of the times, unfortunately. But why? What? I just don't get it, really. I just don't get it.
Absolute idiots.
Oh, look at me.
Just be honest about it.
And then them coming out saying, oh, that on the shield, that could be, what did they say? Glue, or that could be when I did the repair and the powder from the residual. And then I saw an ad on Trade Me that said, I'm selling adhesive paste and had a big thing. Look, just own it. Just be a bloody man, just
Anyway.
perhaps a more sad question though is there was only about 600 people at the Ramphilly Shield game when they took it off Wellington anyway. So is it even relevant anymore? Sad.
Well, that's the oldest and most traditional trophy in New Zealand rugby, but rugby just is losing its base, really, isn't it?
Yep. Looking for solutions to those problems. This is where you'll find them in the appendix, the last chapter or so. Some great answers to those questions if you want to read more.
Yep. Anyway, on to things that are actually happening.
What about Rugby World Cup?
Rugby World Cup. New Zealand's got a massive game in the morning against Uruguay.
Will it be finished by Christmas, the Rugby World Cup? It's been going on for months, mate. It's so long.
Oh, tell me about it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
Why they can't schedule it like the Football World Cup?
It's unbelievable.
I know rugby's a lot harder game than football, but
there's enough teams over there, though.
Yeah.
They can play a game every day.
There's 30. The All Blacks have made mass changes for each game. So
absolutely,
if they're playing on a Saturday and a Wednesday, they'd probably be making just as many changes.
Yep. I just don't understand this again. Once again, some common sense applied to it would make a big difference. Anyway, who we got tomorrow?
Uruguay. The might of Uruguay.
Okay.
Who apparently lost by the same score to France that we did. So that's the pundits' justification for saying, it'll be a tough game.
Okay, so at least 50.
Yep, but the main action has been in Pool C, where Australia's going to miss out. Australia. Out of the Rugby World Cup at the pool stages for the very
go on, mate. Have another crack at us, why don't you? Go on, have another crack. Go on, have another crack, mate. Yeah, we're just doing our bloody goal for our country, mate. Just have another crack.
It's good to see that Eddie Jones has received the full backing of the Australian Rugby Union to see out his 4-year contract. That's because they don't want to pay him out. They haven't got any money.
Are you looking at Japan? I'm coaching Australia right now, mate.
Yeah.
All right. You're not sensitive about much, are you, Eddie?
Yes. Anyway, let's have a look at the pools. France is going to qualify top. New Zealand will qualify second. Unless they get beaten by Uruguay.
Okay. Uruguay.
Unless Scotland can thrash South Africa, which we would all love. Thrash Ireland,
that's right.
Love to see.
Yeah.
South Africa and Ireland, Ireland are probably going to win that group because they'll beat Scotland.
Is it a points differential thing there for Scotland they have to win by lots of points? Or I thought if they won with a bone.
They're 25 points behind.
Oh, okay.
But they are only a point behind Ireland. So if they do beat them, they'll go above them on points.
Okay.
Actually, unless they get a bonus point.
See, this is the thing with bonus points. We shouldn't get rid of that shit too. Sorry.
Anyway,
been grumpy today.
Pool C is going to be Wales and Fiji.
Yep.
And
Fiji. Go Fiji.
Go Fiji.
Full of an arc.
And a big game in Pool D this week is Japan versus Argentina. The winner of that game will go through and probably play Wales in the quarterfinals.
Well, that's an easy quarterfinal. What I would say, who would you say in that one? I'd say Japan.
Well, I'm backing our rugby championship friends, Argentina. I think they'll they tend to start slowly in tournaments, but they seem to be picking
warming up. Okay.
How have they gone? Because they lost their first game.
They did.
To England. It was only 27-10.
I saw the Japan-Samoa game.
10,
yeah.
Chile, and now they've got Argentina.
Samoa were unlucky in the Japan game. They got a guy sent off for one of those things. And they were unlucky when they played Argentina too. So they've been narrow losses for poor old Samoa.
Yeah.
For them.
As we say, the Rugby World Cup drags on.
That's right. By the time Santa comes, there he is. He's going to bring the World Cup for Christmas. He's bringing the World Cup for Christmas as Santa Claus.
Getting off the topic of the ball sports for a moment.
Go on.
Big weekend this weekend. It's
For the
back.
petrol heads. Oh, you'll be partying yourself on the couch with a 6-pack of beer, won't you, mate? And you're
Michelle
not
and I will
going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
Michelle and I will be on the couch for 8.5 hours
Beautiful.
watching those cars go round and round
And
this
round
fucking
and round.
course.
Get me a receptacle. I'm not moving.
So yeah, big Bathurst weekend this weekend. Can't wait.
I know.
Really looking forward to it. And of course, Michelle and I, we're off to Adelaide in November for the Adelaide 500, which should be an absolute
awesome
cracker. Looking forward to that. Never been to Adelaide either, so all good. The baseball playoffs are on.
That's what you've been watching.
Are already out.
Who are? Sorry,
they got beaten today by the Texas Rangers 7-1.
Is that the Tampa Bay Rays? Did you say?
Yeah, Tampa Bay Rays are gone.
See ya. Bye, Florida.
Yeah, see you, Florida. Although Marlins are still in it, although they lose today, they're gone.
The fish
game on at the moment. The Minnesota Twins, who I picked to not get anywhere, they're leading the Blue Jays 2-0 in game.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Get on the teams that you say are going to win. The other team, get on the others.
Yesterday's game.
Are these best? Are these
3-1?
Are these best out of how many? What's the series? How many?
3 wild card series.
Best of 3. Thank you.
All games played at the top seeds ground, so there's no moving around.
Yep.
So yeah, as I say, Rangers are through. They will play the Orioles in the next round. The Twins leading the Blue Jays. If the Twins win today, they will go on and play the Houston Astros.
The Stros and the Twins, maybe.
Stros probably against the Twins. Philadelphia had a good win over Marlins yesterday. The two NL East teams. And if either one of those gets through, they'll face another NL East team in the Atlanta Braves, which I'm picking to go all the way.
Yep.
Diamondbacks upset the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday.
Oh, well done.
Big result.
D-backs.
Big result. Nice. D-backs 3-0 down, come back to win 6-3.
Awesome.
And in today's game, they've got Zach Gallen on the mound, who is their absolute ace and has had a brilliant season.
Wow, so perfect guy for game 2. You're one up.
Get through there, and they will face their local rivals, the LA Dodgers.
Oh, wouldn't that be a great series?
So, couple of massive series in the postseason. The less we talk about the Yankees, the better, because they finished the season shit.
And the Mariners made it through to the wild card, but then lost the game, didn't they?
Oh, they blew it.
They did so good, and then they did so bad. But that's the story of the Mariners, really. It's a bit like the Warriors.
It is. I thought the Mariners were going to get through.
I thought they weren't, and then they were, and then they weren't. It's been like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, exciting season. Bit of sad news from MLB yesterday. Tim Wakefield, the Boston Red Sox knuckleballer, died yesterday, aged only 57 from brain cancer. So
really sad.
He was a great. The Boston Red Sox, show respect and commiserations to his family and the Boston Red Sox,
and also the type of pitcher he was, the knuckleball pitcher. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching him in the 90s, and just going, wow, how can he throw so slow and they can't hit him? It's just it's like a leg spinner in cricket,
in cricket, yeah.
Yeah, just the way it's just bizarre. The ball just floats, and guys that can hit the ball when it's going 100 are just whiffing on it. It's incredible. It's an incredible skill, and very, 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 very sad, and way too young.
So that pretty much wraps it up. We've had a couple of good rants and raves.
We have. I think I feel better now. I feel better. Got a bit off my chest.
I think the overriding thing to come out of our chat was basically technology hasn't helped.
Not really, eh?
It's actually made it worse.
It's the implementation of it. It's just get back to common sense and the implementation of it and why we're implementing it. I think that's it, eh? I mean, we're implementing it to make the sport better, not to show how good you are at showing us the rules, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that's why you're an international referee.
Absolutely.
And you know the rules.
Well done.
The game.
I will applaud you. I will applaud you after the game when you're walking off, and I haven't noticed you. Thank you very much for that.
Let's just apply them a wee bit better.
Yes, yes. Okay. It's until next time, mate. Until we've got something else to get off our chests, it's goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye.